Hey, what's on guys? My name is Brett. Welcome back to another Duel Links video. Welcome back to another Duel Links ban list reaction. I've just been pinged on Discord a billion times saying that, hey, Brad, a new ban list is up, and I thought now would be a good time to check it out. It's 1:30 in the morning, so if I look I'm tired, I apologize. If I sound tired, I apologize, but this should be pretty interesting. I've not really taken a look at it just yet. I know one of the things that's been hit on it, just from people in like Discord spamming pictures of it and stuff. So this will be me going in blind and seeing exactly what's been hit. So we've got the ban list at the bottom of the thing. This is the current ban list, so we can see exactly what's like being hit and what's changing and how certain decks can be impacted. But let's go in. So we've got skill rebalancing on the 18th. That's pretty cool. We're getting early, and then on the 25th we're getting the ban list, and then down here this is actually interesting. So I did read this. They're changing up listed terminology for the ban list from limited and semi-limited, limited 1, limited 2. This is really interesting because there was actually a leak earlier this week that I didn't really believe in, and now I really do. So I'll probably talk about that in another video later today maybe. That one is really interesting. There's a lot of cool things in that leak that I now kind of believe, so we'll probably even talk about that. So let's take a look at the skill rebalancing first, because I think that's going to be the coolest. And whoa, okay, straight away 2 skill rebalances. That's pretty good, honestly. Like these 2 skills are balancing. I haven't really read them yet. I'm kind of like, my vision sucks, by the way. But let's have a look. Skill rebalancing for a triple sleeve. Arcane is the self-proclaimed master of Dark Magician. Therefore, we will change a skill to better reflect his character. That does make sense. Whatever they do with that. And then Last Gamble. Making its activation conditions harder. That's a pog. That needs to happen, honestly. Like, it's been in the game for so long, and it's kind of stayed as it is for so long. So really glad we're getting hit on those 2. Definitely needed in the current metagame. Let's have a look and see what they say. So, a trick with sleeve. Your starting hand will include 1 level 7 or higher dark spellcast type monster randomly selected from your deck. That's the same. This skill will not activate if your deck does not include any level 7 dark spellcasters. Okay. You cannot special summon effect monsters during your first turn. This means that Cosmo Brain is now off boundaries for, you know, for Blue Eyes. Like, you still would play it. Like, I think you'd still use this skill with Blue Eyes, but you just have to make sure that you have a, like, okay, actually it does say your first turn, which means that even if you go second, you still are not able to special summon effect monsters, which really shuts down the whole strategy of Blue Eyes with Dragon Spirit of White and getting rid of that back row. So actually, this might be a bigger hit than it kind of seems like. It's going to be interesting to see how people play around this, actually, because, you know, Cosmo Brain is a very powerful card. It's a very cheap card. It obviously comes in that deck, but it's still very cheap, and it's kind of a necessity for that strategy to really go off. And I'm not too sure how much a Trigger has been seen play recently, honestly. Like, I do wonder whether, because this is getting hit, I do wonder whether on the actual forbidden list, or like the actual ban list of cards, we're going to see hits for older decks, because this to me feels like a hit that should have come a while ago, like maybe in, early January when we got the last ban list. Maybe that would have been a good time for this, but still, hitting something that probably should have been hit and making the skill more akin to being used with Dark Magician is really good. Of course, you can still use your Dark Magic Curtain, bring a Dark Magician turn 1 if you want to play that strategy. It would be cool to see how people kind of get around this, because this to me is the same as the Cyber Dark style nerf, or Cyber style nerf, in that same kind of regard, is that we didn't mean for it to be used like this, even though Konami, clearly you knew people were going to use this, and that's why you put Cosmo Brain in the deck. Like, that's the only reason you included that, is because there was a skill that people could abuse with a new character. Cool. Then we have Last Gamble, can be used from turn 7 and onward. That's a pretty big hit. Honestly, that's a really big hit. Like, Last Gamble on its own already is a gamble already, as it says. You know, having to wait that long, and I'm getting pinged on Discord of people like, okay, yeah, whatever. And that seems to be the only hit. Reduce your life points to 100, shuffle 2 cards you enter deck, then roll a die and draw cards equal to the number rolled. That's exactly the same. So yeah, just the activation requirements have been changed on that one, which is not bad, honestly. Definitely needs to happen. Definitely was a hit that needs to happen with that, and now that it's 2 extra turns, I'm wondering whether that completely stops people from playing it. Like, unless they run even more stall, because already Last Gamble, you know, it does take a lot of turns to set up, and now it's just even more, and it was really powerful at 5 turns, so Turn 7, it's a little bit less powerful, especially since the current metagame is very OTK heavy. That's gonna really put a damper on those kind of decks. So definitely good hits, you know, really good hits. This, okay, sure, record skill changes, that just, okay, that's actually just saying what got changed every time. So nothing we need to look at there, but then we have the Forbidden Limited List implementation. Let's see what we have. Oh boy. It's finally gone though, like, well, not gone, but you know. Limited, only one card can be included in your deck. KOA'KI MEIRU Maximus. We're limiting this card as having 3 copies. This card has allowed KOA'KI MEIRU decks to consistently end duels in 1 turn. That is very true. And looking at the ban list, like looking at the list we have here of like stuff, I'm going to bring it up here real quick. There isn't really anything on here in the limited section that this kind of clashes with. So KOA'KI MEIRU, honestly, they still have a really good strategy in being a more control deck with things like, you know, Urnite summoning out for Sandman or Wall, and then going for the tribute summon for the big level 7, I think it is, and destroying 2 back row or 2 guards on the field, like 2 face downs or whatever. That's like, that to me feels like the best play now with the deck. You still have 1, obviously, you still get 1 big monster that can pop, and I'm guessing they haven't touched Diamond Core, so you can still keep them alive for multiple turns. That's still a thing, but it now means that you have 2 less targets in your deck for Diamond Core, which is really nice, and again just means that it's less likely for you to draw into the cards you need. And since that runs balance, you now need to include 2 more KOA'KI MEIRU monsters to make up for that loss. So not bad, Konami, not bad at all. Then we have Spellbook of Eternity. Now this one I knew about. This is one I kind of knew about because I saw one saying spellbooks are dead. Target one of your banished spellbook cards, add it to your hand. I haven't really played spellbooks, honestly, so I can't really comment too much on this, but it seems like a card they definitely use, and their reasoning here: decks that use this card can have a consistently high winning percentage over the course of many months, therefore we are limiting this card to prevent the metagame becoming stale. I don't think spellbooks are making the metagame stale. I wouldn't really call them that. Like, I haven't seen them in months. Honestly, I haven't seen spellbooks in months. It's like, I've not been playing too much ranked PvP, but all the ones I have, the KC Cup, I did not see a single spellbook player, so that's really interesting that it's taken them this long to hit it. And of course we do have already hit Tutu, Fate, and Trunade, Fate and Treacherous, which was a big hit to that deck already. So now having, I believe this is a 2 or 3 of. It wouldn't make sense if it was a 1 of on its own. So I'm guessing it's a card they use multiple copies of because it does, you know, recycle those Fate targets they used. That's going to be a pretty beefy hit to that deck. So ooh. Spellbooks, you're not looking so hot right now, which is a shame because they're a cool little control deck. Then we have Iron Core of KOA'KI MEIRU going to 2. That makes sense. Like, now you have 5 ways to protect your monsters, like 5 ways to protect your Maximus, really, and then 2 less ways of getting out your Urnite's effect. That's the big hit. That's the really big hit, honestly, is Urnite. Like, this really screws over the deck's potential to get a decent amount of monsters on board to either do damage or to respond to face downs. Like, and still, we've not seen a hit to Masked Heroes. Oh, it's one of those decks that just kind of needs to be hit at some point, even if it's a small hit, but Iron Core going to 2 is okay. You know, it makes sense that they'd hit this over Diamond Core. See, now as well, actually, so this is actually where it kind of works in their favour. I believe that KOA'KI MEIRU's run Trunade. I believe. My build that I played doesn't, but I think they do, just for the extra OTK potential. So now you kind of have to run Iron Core KOA'KI MEIRU as well. Like, you can't not run this card, otherwise the deck just completely malfunctions. So okay, actually that's a really good hit. That's, you know, that was kind of needed. Good on them. And then for Samurai Skull, one of Vampire's biggest extenders. When it's called normal summoned, send 1 zombie from your deck to the graveyard. Putting in your retainer and your familiar into the graveyard to get their effects off is too big of a play. This is a really good hit for a deck that really need hitting, and a hit that doesn't, you know, completely screw over the deck. Again, it's one that doesn't screw it over completely because you still have access to all the super rares and ultra rares and stuff you paid for from that vampire box. So this is a good hit. Another example of a good, smart, sensible hit for a deck that kind of needed it, and it's at 2, which means I believe the vampires use Econ. Do they use Econ anymore? Because if they do, then you now know you have to run Samurai Skulls over Econ, I think. So yeah, good hit. Like, that's what I can say. Konami is honestly, for what this ban list is, for 4 cards getting hit, that is not so bad. And what 007 has just come online on Duel Links, I'm guessing he's recording a video right now, so hello Ethan if you're watching this reaction to the ban list. But Konami, you did good. I think it was a good hit. I think it was a good little ban list. Not the giant nuke I wanted. I was talking with some friends, and I think that I really wanted a big nuke ban list to just kind of reset everything, similar to the For Hire and Amazon list one we got back in October. That'd have been nice if we got that kind of ban list again, but maybe after next KC Cup in April, maybe after that. Maybe they didn't want, KOA'KI MEIRU Cup again, which, or KOA'KI Cup, which, fits the thing of KC, KOA'KI Cup, whatever. But, yeah, good hits, I think. Good hits. The skill hits, really cool. And so, let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks for watching. Again, apologies for this video being a bit all over the place. It is very late. It's coming on 2 AM for me now, so I'm going to upload this. I'm going to go jump back in bed again, and I will see you all in the next Duel Links video. See you then. Let's see if I can find that. There's the recorded button. See you then.